Hey everyone, this is Clyde 72. Craig, I go by the screen name Clyde 72 on the Shaving Cadre and other forums and venues online. Making a video today to show what I did to lap the surface of my Translucent Arkansas stone. I purchased this stone several months ago and did some research after I got it as to what to do to get it ready to hone straight razors with. And the general consensus was to get something and take it up to about 600 grit, whether you use sandpaper or lapping stones or combination thereof or SIC powder. And that's what I decided to use, was the SIC powder, as this seemed the best and easiest way to do this. So I purchased some SIC powder, or silicon impregnated carbide, and I took the surface of this stone up through the 600 grit progression. And I'm getting good edges off this stone. I don't claim to be a home meister or homing master by any means. I've only been doing this a very short period of time. I've learned a lot from the members of the Shaving Cadre and from various other venues online, but this is just the video of how I took this stone up through this progression. And the reason I'm doing this today is, like I said, I've already done this stone. But one of the owners of TSC, one of the administrators, Dave, Xeon Shave, right? Xeon Straight Shave, Dave, anyway. We all know him as Dave. And he took one of the other members, Chris's, I believe it was, CMH 77. Am I getting these screen names right? Maybe, I don't know. Took his black surgical Arkansas stone up to 2,000 grit sandpaper to see if he could get better edges off of it and see if Chris could get better edges off of it. So I decided, hey, why not try my translucent and see why not? What would I get better edges off of it if I took it up to 2,000? So I decided to do the back side. I didn't want to do the side that I'd already done. Like I said, I'm getting good edges off of it. So I'm going to do the back side today. And the video we're going to watch is this. And like I said, I'm not an expert. Do this at your own risk to your own stone. It works for me. We'll see what happens. Okay, so this is my Dan's Translucent Arkansas Whetstone. I picked this up at a pretty good deal. I hadn't really planned to get into the natural stones yet. I was perfectly happy with my synthetics. Got some Shaped Pros. But I ran across a good deal on this one at about half price and just couldn't really pass it up. And this is just the box that it came in, just to show you that it is a Dan's, right? Okay, so I did some research and whatnot. And what I found out was that a lot of people, there's different ways of doing this. You can use a lapping plate, or you can use sandpaper, or you can use what's called SIC powder. So I went out and got me some SIC powder. And the SIC powder I got some 120 grit. And I also got some 320 grit. And some 600 grit. And you use these in progression, just like if you were going to be polishing a piece of metal or something. So what I'm going to do is I'll start with the 120, then I'll go to the 320, and then I'll finish up with the grit on the 600 here. The good thing about this SIC powder is it's not very expensive in the grand scheme of things. This is the surface on this rock. Just an FYI, this is the surface that I've already done. I took this to 600, and I'm getting some good edges off of this rock. And being the novice honer that I am, I'm still getting some good edges off of it. And I just wrote the date on the side of it here so I could tell which side was which and which side I had prepared and which side I hadn't. And also just to kind of show a reminder as to when I bought the rock or when I got the rock. So I'm not going to mess with the 600 grit side because it's performing for me at this time and I don't want to screw it up. So I'm going to do a complete progression on the back side of the rock. And this rock, it doesn't have any inclusions. You can see some discolorations in it, but it's very smooth. It was very flat when I checked it with a straight edge. It came from Dan's. probably could have used it as it was, but I did go ahead and use the up through 600 grit on it. And that's what we're going to do to this side today. So, that being said, I'm going to get the SIC powder out. Silicone Carbide Pumice is what this is called. It's silicone carbide is what SIC is. And they're calling this a pumice. And I actually got this from a place called hisglassworks.com. Maybe other places, I don't know. This is just the first place I came across of it, and pricing seemed to be in line, so I bought it, right? Okay, and this is one of these things. This is just a piece of ceramic tile that I picked up at Home Depot or Lowe's. Smooth surface, and you can see where I'd already rubbed on it before. These are very surprisingly flat, and make a very good work surface to flatten your stones. You can also use a piece of glass or a piece of marble. This is just what I happen to have. So I'm going to just dust a little bit of this SIC powder on here. This is maybe a half a teaspoon. It's not much at all. Not much at all. And that even may be more than was necessary. Okay, just to be able to check the progress and everything and see how we're doing, I'm going to draw the grid on with a pencil on the back of the stone, and this way, and you know, you're just making, you can do squiggly lines or grids or whatever. This is just to see where you're hitting on the stone, and the theory is when the pencil mark's all gone, the stone is flat. So that's the theory I will go with. And this is just water, just a little bit here, so I'm just going to give this a little wetness. And we're going to start. This is probably going to be loud. And you can see it's still some pencil marks on there. So we'll keep at it for a little bit longer then. That looks pretty good to me. I don't really see any pencil marks left on it. I lied, didn't I? There's some right there on that side. So still obviously not completely flat, so we'll go at it a little bit longer. And looks like that may have pretty well gotten it. I'm going to go rinse it off and rinse if it did, and then I'll rinse the ceramic tile off also, so I can go to the lower grit powder, or higher grit powder rather, because you don't want to mix the higher grit powder with the lower grit powder. It wouldn't hurt anything to mix the lower grit powder, the higher grit powder with the lower grit powder, but you don't want to mix the lower grit powder with the higher grit powder, because that would affect your finish, of course. So be right back. Okay, so as you can see, I went and rinsed it off, and there's still some pencil marks right here, and looks like maybe something right there also. Not sure if it's a pencil mark or what it is, but whatever it is, I'm going to do some more rubbing here on this and see if we can get it all flatter. Okay, I'm not seeing it. Maybe that got it. Really won't know until I go rinse it off. So I'll be right back once again. Okay, back, and I rinsed it off. Didn't see any more pencil marks. Went ahead and rinsed off the tile, and used a paper towel to dry it off with. And probably shouldn't have done that. Feel the remnants of the paper towel in here, so I just take this microfiber and wipe it off. Yeah, much better, much better. Yeah, much better. So I'm going to redraw the grid, and we'll go with the 200 320 grit SIC powder. Next, same process. I would say when you do this, just be, it doesn't really matter how many you get, but you probably want to make sure you get some, you know, fairly close to the middle and on the edges for sure, because we're trying to get it as flat as possible from one side to the other. So, all right, so get the 320. Again, this is the 320 SIC silicon carbide, and this particular site calls it pumice. And as I said before, this stuff will, a pound of this will probably last me a long time, because it just doesn't take much of it at all to do this, not much at all. And also rinsed off the spoon that I was using, so I don't want to get the higher grit powder mixed with the lower grit powder in the progression. You don't want the lower grit powder in with the higher grit powder. And just a little bit of water. Make a little slurry as before. And here we go. I still got a little pencil mark on there still. You can see some here on the edge, some right here. So and still got a little left on this corner, and a little left on that corner, it looks like. So okay, I think that's pretty well, still a little bit right there. Still not quite there yet. Okay, I'm going to go rinse. I think it's probably pretty well got all the pencil marks off, unless the rinse shows something. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back, and as you can see, I've rinsed my stone off my Translucent Arkansas, and you can see there's no pencil marks left on it. So I'm ready to proceed to the 600 grit. That's really smooth, and 600 grit's just going to make it even smoother and flatter. So more smooth than flat, I'm sure. It's just varying degrees of flatness here. You know. So this is the 600 grit pumice, as they're calling it, silicon carbide, SIC as it's commonly known. Once again, double bag just to be safe. And I did, once again, I cleaned off the spoon so I don't cross-contaminate my grits. And just like I said, just a little bit, not much at all. Makes a nice slurry, and will do the job nicely. And somebody that's more experienced with this might say, man, you're using way too much powder there. So maybe I am, I don't know. It looks right to me, and it seems to work. A little water. And we'll, just for references, we'll remark the grid. I know for sure, if I get all these pencil marks off here, that this thing's pretty well done with this grit. Maybe overdone, actually. So here we go. You can see this is so fine that it doesn't hardly make any noise at all. So it's probably going to take a while to get these pencil marks off here for sure. Still got just a little I can see right there. Very faint, and I'm not really seeing anywhere else. So getting close, and you know, really could probably stop there because you know I'm not going to be honing on that part of the stone anyway. But I'm kind of OCD perfectionist when it comes to something like this. It would bug me if I knew it was there. Be interesting to see once I get this through its progression this time if this does make a difference in my edges. I was actually surprised. First couple of razors I honed, I just did strictly on the synthetics, and man, that stuck. All right, and perfectly happy with my edges. Still just a very faint trace right there. So go ahead a little bit longer, a little more wet in my slurry here. What actually, I saw a guy on here that said he got some 1000 grit SIC powder, and I'd actually like to know where he got it at, where he got all his SIC powder. The place I bought mine doesn't have 1000 grit, and the only place I found it, again, they want me to buy a pound, which I don't have a problem with, but the shipping was going to be more, like 20% more than what I was actually buying, and I have a problem with that. So maybe he found somewhere that was cheaper, or that had less shipping, or sold smaller quantities or something. I don't know. Alright, looks like we're done. I'm not really seeing any pencil marks left. So once again, I'm going to go rinse this off. If it's done, I'll rinse my plate off again, and we'll go at it again with the 1000 grit sandpaper and see what happens. Just a little left, and you stop the tape and kind of re-wetted the paper. It's trying to curl up on the edges. It's not trying to move on me, really. It just bothers me. It doesn't hurt nothing. Okay, just a little bit left right there, and honestly, it really wouldn't make any difference at all, because you're never going to get the edge of the razor that close to the edge of the stone. So. Oh yeah, that's for all practical purposes. It's gone. It's not even there anymore. So that's the finish I've got with the 1000 grit sandpaper. I'm gonna go rinse this off, and we'll go back and do the 1500 grit and see where we get to with that. Okay, back once again. Rinsed it off. Rinsed the ceramic tile off again to get any slurry that might have been from the 1000 grit on there off. And we're just going to repeat the process again, this time with some 1500 grit wet dry. Sandpaper. Wet my tile down again. Well, and adhere the paper to it. There we go. And we'll wet the paper. And again, I'm going to mark the grid on here. You can see it's getting so smooth now that it's really hard to get the pencil to even mark on it. So we're talking really smooth already. So here we go, 1500 grit. Pencil marks definitely gone. That's how smooth that is. Just from the residue left from this paper towel, I can feel it on there with my fingertips. That is super smooth. Maybe not reflecting, it's kind of reflecting light a little bit right now. Yep, sure is. Kind of reflecting a little bit. I don't know how I could show that on this video. But I'll, if nothing else, I'll figure out a way to get a picture of it, and I'll take a picture of it and put that on the end of the video when I get done with it. But it's definitely reflecting light now already. So we're going to go to the 2000 grit. We'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. Rinse my plate off again, and even from the SIC powder, it's so smooth that I can feel where the paper towel was on it. And I'm just using old microfiber cloth here to wipe it off. So as far as I'm going to go with this, all that's left is the 2000 grit wet dry paper, and we'll go from there. Wrap my towel again. water spray. Yeah, imagine that, water spray. Spraying water. Sandpaper. And once again, we're going to mark a grid on here. Yeah, the grid is kind of getting hard to mark. It's so slick. It's not wanting to even abrasive enough to take the pencil lead off. Alright, here we go. Okay, there's just some very, very light traces of pencil lead. Really close, really close. Okay, that looks pretty dang good. I don't see any pencil marks on that at all. Let's see. Oh yeah, that's smoother than a baby's bottom. I guarantee you. Guarantee you that it's smoother than a baby's bottom. Okay, went and rinsed it off and wiped it off again with the microfiber. And I wish you could feel this. This is just super smooth. Really super smooth. And my computer monitor is right here. And it's not on, there's a little flashing LED on it. And at the bottom, and I can see that LED vividly reflected in this stone. Just pretty much everywhere. And I really don't know how to demonstrate. I'm going to try a pen light and see. Can you see how bright that's reflecting off that light? And this is a pretty bright light to start with, but that is almost like staring into the light. I mean, it is super bright, super smooth, super reflective surface right now. I figured out a way to show how reflective the surface of the stone is by holding it up against the bottom of my computer monitor, and you can see the icons reflected on it. So the next thing to do is when we hone our next razor, we'll see if it makes a difference on it, and we'll report back. Hope you found this useful. Thanks for watching. Okay, TSC members, that was the video. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you find it useful. If you're not a TSC member, then again, that's the Shaving Cadre. We'll put the link to the Shaving Cadre in the description of the video. Please come by, join us. We're a little group of guys and gals that we just enjoy talking all things wet shaving and other interests, generally interests we like to say. Main focus, of course, being the Shaving Cadre is on wet shaving. Hope you found my little video useful. Come on over and join us and say, hey, I ran across this guy, Craig, on YouTube, and he's did this video. He's talking about the TSC or something. So I figured I'd come check you out. Why not? So enjoy your shaves, Cadre.